Seneca counsels us to live each day as if it were our last, for the dread of death is the heaviest burden we bear. It is not death itself, but the fear that precedes it, which disturbs the mind and robs life of peace. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that death is the natural limit of all things. To resist it is to resist the order of the universe. When we accept death, we align ourselves with nature's law and find tranquility within. Seneca writes that the slow approach of death is often more troubling than death itself. Yet those who fortify themselves against this fate gain courage to face all other hardships without fear. We must remember that our bodies are temporary lodgings, to be left behind as naturally as a traveler departs an inn. The frequent thought of death strengthens the mind against its necessity, preparing us to die well rather than merely to live long. Cicero reflects that no one dies too soon who has completed the course of perfect virtue. The praise earned by a life well lived follows us beyond death, marking the true measure of our time here. Seneca warns that the fear of death enslaves us continually, yet the contempt of it grants certain liberty. To live without anxious dependence on tomorrow is our surest course to happiness and security. Therefore, meet your last day with courage. Let the fear of death not steal your present. Embrace mortality and stand firm before the hourglass of your life. Consider that all things exist by certain order and appointment, as Marcus Aurelius observes in his Meditations. Death is among these appointed changes, inevitable and natural. The body must dissolve, the atoms disperse, or the soul be translated. This transformation is no more than nature's law unfolding, not a punishment or loss to dread. Marcus Aurelius counsels that what is intolerable in pain is soon ended by death. What endures must be tolerable. Thus, the mind may detach itself from bodily suffering and remain whole. He urges us to rejoice with simplicity and modesty, loving mankind and obeying the divine order, accepting middle things as indifferent between virtue and vice. Seneca, too, writes that the fear of death is a continual slavery, but the contempt of it is certain liberty. To face our last hour with courage frees us from this bondage. Our final day is but the birth of eternity, the shedding of earthly luggage to return as we came, naked and unburdened. This is the natural course, not a cause for despair. Marcus Aurelius even imagines that after death, if there is another life, we shall find gods everywhere as before. His reflections invite us to see death not as an end, but a passage. Therefore, embrace death as nature's change appointed to all. Resist it not, for to do so is to resist the order of the universe itself. Marcus Aurelius observes that death is a natural law, not to be feared, but accepted as part of the order that governs all things. To live well is to live in harmony with this truth. Cicero, in De Officiis, states that virtue alone is good, and pain or death are not evils. Thus, death does not diminish the value of our duty. Rather, it exposes the urgency to fulfill it. When we acknowledge death's certainty, we are called to act with propriety, to honor our obligations without delay or distraction. The fleeting nature of life sharpens the clarity of what is truly important. Seneca, living amid his age's turmoil, maintains serenity by accepting the tension between the world's corruption and his duty to virtue. We too must move with the current, yet hold fast to what is right. Cicero's Laelius shows that the approbation of conscience remains when external rewards fade. Virtue's true honor is internal, untouched by envy or loss, sustained by the beauty of moral rectitude. Death's role is not to terrify, but to awaken. It calls us to live with purpose, to act justly, and to refuse postponement of what is good. This is the charge Marcus Aurelius offers, to meet life's duties with clear resolve. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the discipline of the mind is not merely intellectual, but a feeling of reverence and aspiration. Our burdens and daily annoyances become the soil where duty grows stronger. Epictetus teaches that knowledge of ourselves grants freedom even within dependencies. This freedom demands control over passions and readiness for life's inevitable farewells. Life is like a military camp or a stage, where we must act well the roles assigned by the divine order. This calls for constant vigilance and self-mastery in all situations. When fear arises, it signals the urgency of the moment. It bids us to live not with resignation, but with gratitude for the time given and the chance to act rightly. To live according to nature is to accept our power over opinion and desire, as Aurelius teaches. True happiness lies within the control of our own reason and will. Transform fear into a steady call to live with purpose and gratitude. Meet each moment with a calm heart, prepared to act in harmony with the whole. Marcus Aurelius counsels us to guard our minds against envy, for it disrupts harmony and wastes effort. He urges us to remember that what we give to another is not taken from ourselves, a lesson in shared humanity and fleeting time. Marcus Aurelius reflects on the theater and the law courts, yet his heart remains with study and contemplation. Even amidst daily duties, he finds time to prepare himself for the inevitable end, knowing that life's distractions are many, but death is certain. Cicero recounts the story of Cleobis and Biton, who performed a great sacrifice and found their death a blessing. Their example teaches that death, far from evil, can be a fitting conclusion to a life well lived, a release from the burdens of the body. Marcus Aurelius speaks of his nightly study and the wisdom drawn from many books, yet he admits weariness. This honest admission reminds us that even the wise must prepare daily, embracing mortality without illusion or avoidance. Let this be your practice tonight, a simple Memento Mori ritual. Recall that your days are counted, that envy and distractions steal your peace, and that death is the final harmony we all share. Consider the sand running through the hourglass at dusk, marking the passing time that shapes all life.